looks like more reporters are growing the courage to hold Mark Carney's feet to the fire and actually call him out. This is all while he's assembling his new team. It's looking a lot less like the Avengers and more like Ocean's 11. Ladies and gents, welcome back. We're just about to head into an election. It looks like that way. This is the rumor mill is that the writ is going to drop on Sunday. I'll believe it when I see it, actually, when it comes down to it. But this is what's going around in Ottawa. There's many politicians that are buying up space for their offices. I don't think they would be doing that if it wasn't for the fact that they were looking forward to an election that's imminent. Imminent is the word that's going around right now. And as that's happening, people are assembling their teams. And this is a really interesting one. Now, Tracey Wilson's writing this one on X saying, Evan Solomon to run for the Carney Liberals. Evan is a former CBC journalist who moved to the States to work as a Eurasia group with Carney's wife and Gerald Butts. Solomon was fired from the CBC for brokering crooked art deals. He'll fit in perfectly. This is from CB24, obviously. The news on this one. Now, I'll show this clip. Ryan Garrettson posted this one on X, and this is from actually 10 years ago when this was happening. Evan Solomon is running to be a Liberal MP. This was 10 years ago when he was fired from the CBC for allegedly brokering art deals with individuals including Mark Carney. That's right, Mark Carney himself was involved in all of this stuff. Hey, why not keep those crooked people close to you in this thing moving forward? Here we go.
On this network, CBC News Network, and the House on CBC Radio was fired last night after a report alleging he brokered art deals with people with whom he was involved as a journalist. James Murray leads off our coverage now live with me this morning. James, tell us more about the allegations at issue here.
Well, allegations that were first raised by Toronto Star investigative journalist Kevin Donlan, who said that after an investigation into Evan's private business affairs away from the CBC, that they had uncovered a sort of secret sideline in art dealership. Apparently, Evan Solomon had a long-standing relationship with a man who most Canadians would never have heard of, but is very well known in world art circles as an art collector, and it seems someone who is trying to unload some of his paintings. It seems a deal was struck for a commission, a 10% commission that was done in secret. If Evan Solomon, it seems, could introduce this art collector to some famous and influential people like Jim Balsillie, formerly of Research in Motion and BlackBerry, and Mark Carney, who was the governor of the Bank of Canada, now the governor of the Bank of England.
Oh, crooked deals. What do we know? This is, it seems to be the norm here around these parts here in Canada when it comes to the Liberal Party coming around and doing this. So the announcement here, Evan Solomon is going to be part of this. Now, I'm going to go over a lot of this in the live stream tonight. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you tune in tonight at 6:30 Pacific time. That's 9:30 Eastern. We're going to be talking about a lot of this stuff. David Jacobs writing on X, what is the Eurasia Group and how will it impact Canada's economic future? Let's take a conspiracy theory free dive into the topic. We're going to go over some of this tonight, so I recommend people tune into this. But where's Mark Carney? Right now, he's being called out. This is great. I love seeing this stuff. We saw this earlier this week with Rosemary Barton, actually. She's catching a lot of flack for this, but hey, props to her for actually calling him out on what looks to be conflicts of interest. But here's James Westgate, James Snell, sorry. It's a journalist for the Western Standard. My bad here. But he called out Mark Carney in this instance. This is great for the fact that right away, right when he became prime minister, he said that the biggest threat to Canada was the tariff issue with Donald Trump. What did he do? He flew off to Europe. Instead of confronting our issues with our southern border. Have a look at this exchange here, because it was on our dime and he's not an elected official.
You have not been elected in a federal election yet, and you recently flew to Europe on government wide-body jet at the expense of at least $500,000. So the question I have for you today, and maybe I'll say this before I ask the question, these people around you all paid for that flight, and you've not been elected yet. So will you commit to refunding these taxpayers for that flight?
Well, it's an interesting question, way of framing it. Look, and I'm going to go back to, I'm going to allude to the question that was asked previously by Mr. Staples from the Journal, and the situation that we're in as a country, which is we are in an economic crisis that's brought on, sorry, I'm going to answer the question, brought on by the tariffs that have been put on Canada, actual and prospective. One of the challenges...
The economic crisis was brought on by former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and you were his advisor at the time.
I think you would find...
These people did not create that problem.
I certainly... hey, nobody in Canada created that problem. Nobody in Canada created that problem.
Nobody.
The U.S. government has decided to put tariffs on all of its closest allies. All of its closest allies. I wouldn't for a moment suggest that anyone in Canada is the cause of this. What our responsibility is to take action to react to a different world that we're in. And part of the way we do that is we build out new partnerships, new opportunities, including opportunities. And I'm going to give you a specific one, and then I don't know if you have one more follow-up, but I'll give you a specific example. It goes to my previous answer.
Well, you know, one way to build up these relationships would be to call them on the phone. It doesn't take $500,000 of taxpayers' money to fly over there, stay in lavish hotels, so you can just go have a conversation with Mr. Macron in France. This is the reality of the situation. So obviously trying to dodge the question and put it on the reporter in this instance. And well, that's just it. Now, a lot of things are coming out about Mark Carney, and this is why there's a lot of people that are saying that this is why they might be rushing into an election. Get this election over with, because the more people learn about this guy, the more they find him unsavory. So the quicker they have this election, the sooner or the better his chances might be, rather than sticking around and waiting it out. Now, this is Mario Zelaya. Zelaya, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, but he put this out there. This is very interesting stuff.
This article here, you're not going to find anywhere, because this was printed back in 2021, and I'm going to blow your mind. Watch this. So I'm going to zoom into these sections so you can see what I see. In Mark Carney's book, Values, Building a Better World, he says that Western society is morally rotten and that it has been corrupted by capitalism. He claims it requires rigid controls on personal freedom, industry, and corporate funding. Since about 2020, Carney has been front and center in the promotion of a political agenda known as the Great Reset, all predicated on the disruption of the global economy, providing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to not just regulate climate, but to frame it a more fair, more diverse, and more inclusive, more safe, and more woke world. Carney draws inspiration from, among others, Marx, Engels, and Lenin. But the agenda he promotes differs from Marxism in two key respects. First, the private sector is not to be expropriated, but made a partner in reshaping the economy and society. Second,
I think it was Mussolini who first came up with that idea, but I'll let him continue.
It does not make a promise to make the lives of ordinary people better, but worse. Carney's Brave New World will be one of severely constrained choice, less flying, less meat, more inconvenience, and more poverty. This is Mark Carney's own words. Assets will be stranded, used gasoline-powered cars will be unsellable, inefficient properties will be unrentable, he promises. But listen to what Carney says. Should sex be up for sale? Carney thunders. Following Sandel, should there be a market in the right to have children? Why not auction the right to opt out of military service? Why shouldn't universities sell admission to raise money for worthy causes? Should there be a right to have children? And there you have it. From his words, not mine, You're Prime Minister of Canada.
That's exactly where we are. Now, the idea here is that Justin Trudeau was unable to finish the job. So Mark Carney came in, stepped in to take the reins in this one and finish off Canada. This is much like what the World Economic Forum has done to countries like Sri Lanka. They have a plan for us, and it's not in our interest. It's absolutely not in our interest. And Mark Carney is here to finish the job. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. And don't forget to tune in tonight in the live stream at 6:30 Pacific time. That is 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then. Keep on trucking.